South Point Casino is the perfect place to be. Our racebook is completely separate from the sportsbook and totally dedicated to the horse player. With 52 overhead TVs, free Wi-Fi, and cocktail service. Bring your tablet or smartphone and plug into the USB ports to look up your favorite handicapping website without draining your battery. Want to wager from your seat? No problem with our IPTs. Just sign up, make a deposit, and you're off to the races. Plus, you'll earn points for dining, hotel, movies, entertainment, and the spa just by using the club card when wagering. South Point Casino's Racebook has you covered.
Born from the tragedy of 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation is committed to helping our nation's heroes and their families in their darkest hours. When a first responder or veteran doesn't return home and leaves behind a young family, Tunnel to Towers supports them. The foundation pays off their mortgages and lifts their financial burdens through their Gold Star Family Home Program and Fallen First Responder Home Program. Through their Smart Home Program, catastrophically injured veterans and first responders regain their independence with a mortgage-free home, specially adapted to meet their unique physical needs. Tunnel to Towers also provides housing assistance and services to our nation's homeless veterans through their Homeless Veteran Program. They are helping more than 2,000 in 2023 because no veteran should be living on the streets of the country they signed up to protect. Join Tunnel to Towers on its mission to do good and never forget 9/11 or the sacrifices made by our nation's heroes. Donate $11 a month at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
The following is a Race Day Las Vegas presentation in association with Siraco Productions Limited on the Race Day Las Vegas Radio Network.
Live from the gaming capital of the world, time for Race Day Las Vegas, covering the sport of kings with a Las Vegas perspective. Now to the race desk with your host, Ralph Siraco.
From the backstretch to the turf club, at the racebooks and on the internet, to all horse players around the world, a good morning. Alrighty, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Race Day Las Vegas radio program on this Sunday. And 1 week from today, the Super Bowl down the street will be here in Las Vegas, Nevada. And this town is already starting to pent up energy. You can feel it all over town. People are coming in for all of the big events that happen before the Super Bowl. All week long, there's going to be events all over Las Vegas with the Super Bowl stuff that's going on. It's going to be great. And celebrities are starting to show up, etc. It's just a fun time of year to be here in Vegas and right here at the South Point Hotel Casino on the Las Vegas Strip in Las Vegas. We come to you live and direct from the South Point studios. And, of course, if you're watching us or listening to us there, you know you did it through YouTube. And those of you listening, if you haven't tried it, do it. Go to YouTube, hit South Point Studio. You'll see us. You'll hear us. Just like you do on the radio. And, of course, we ask you to subscribe. If you haven't already, it's free. Just hit subscribe, and we appreciate that as well. So we welcome you to this Sunday before the Super Bowl Sunday. And, of course, we come to you live and direct from this gaming capital. And, of course, all of the other platforms that we have, like our websites, racedaylasvegas.com, .vegas, .world, .global. And, of course, your iPhone, your Android with your KSHP app that you can hear us. And, of course, anywhere you get your podcasting as well. It just goes on and on and on. However, wherever, whenever, welcome to the Sunday Race Day Show. The weather is changing. In Southern California, they are getting slammed right now with gale force. I mean, I'm telling you, they're expecting flooding in Southern California, right there across Los Angeles and, of course, Arcadia, where Santa Anita's at. You already know, if you haven't already, that Santa Anita is canceling their racing today. No racing at Santa Anita today. Los Alamitos in Orange County, which is a little bit south of the Santa Anita and Arcadia in Orange County, Los Alamitos is also canceled tonight. No racing tonight at Los Alamitos. So as far as Southern California is concerned, they have canceled the racing there, expecting large amount of water and raining today. That front is moving through here. We're starting to get a little drizzle outside right now here in Las Vegas. And before the day is out, we will have rain. We're going to have rain Monday and Tuesday and part of Wednesday morning here in Las Vegas as that front moves from Southern California right through Las Vegas and on out to the East Coast. But hopefully, by about Wednesday afternoon and right through the Super Bowl, we should be fine with great weather and sunny skies. Hopefully, that's for sure. But for right now, Southern California is getting drenched. No racing Santa Anita or Los Alamitos. And all we can say is stay dry out there in Southern California, folks. That's for sure. All righty. Our handicappers, boy, they hit it out of the park yesterday. Our handicappers came up with 7 picks overall on the entire show. 5 of them reached the winner's circle. So I hope you had a good day with our handicappers as well. They're back. Rich Ang will be here. He does, obviously, there's no Southern California, but Richie will give us an update on the Super Bowl. I think he might have a pick somewhere else as well, so we'll wait and see. John Linda will be with us. No Linda report today for Santa Anita. He won't do one for Gulfstream either, because if the races come off the main track and the turf at Gulfstream today, they'll be on the tappeta footing, and John says he doesn't want to do any handicapping there. He's not really feels comfortable with doing that. So there won't be any Linda report, but he does have a selection for us as well. And, of course, Jerry Jackowitz will be along with his Aqueduct pick for today. As far as the handicappers yesterday, well, Jerry came up with a winner. John Lindo came up with a winner. Rich Ang came up with a winner. But the guy who had both his selections win was Jonathan Hardoon, came up with 2 wins for our handicappers yesterday. Can't wait to see if we can parlay some of those winnings onto more winnings today. That's for sure. Let's take a look. Now, let's take a look at the recap of the Kentucky Derby preps yesterday. I want to remind everybody, though, for today. Today, there was one race that held Kentucky Oaks 20 points for the leaderboard. That was the Las Virgenes Stakes out at Santa Anita. But as we know, the racing has been canceled today at Santa Anita. They have rescheduled that Las Virgenes Stakes for the Kentucky Oaks 20 points next weekend. It'll be on next Saturday, I believe. They're going to reschedule it for next Saturday. There was one race yesterday for the Kentucky Oaks as well for 20 points there. And, of course, 4 Kentucky Derby prep races that held 20 points on the leaderboard there. So let's get started by taking a look at it. We'll start out with Oaklawn Park. It was an off track yesterday at Oaklawn Park. It was between muddy and sloppy at Oaklawn Park yesterday. But the Southwest Stakes, holding 20 points for the Kentucky Derby leaderboard, went to Mystic Dan, who rolled up the inside and won under Brian Hernandez for trainer Kenny McPeak. Easy win, by the way, and 2 in the mud. So keep that in mind. If it comes up a muddy day at Churchill Downs, we know this horse loves that stuff already. Mystic Dan paid $24.80 for the win. Just Steel, a horse that Jonathan liked a lot, finished second in the race at a nice price. And Liberal Arts was third in that race. And big win there for Mystic Dan. As a matter of fact, between Brad Cox, Bob Baffert, Steve Asmussen, and Kenny McPeak, dating back to 2021, they have combined to win 11 of, now 12 of Oaklawn's last 13 Kentucky Derby prep races. So now they're 12 for 14 overall in that condition. So keep that in mind when they move ahead along the way to the Arkansas Derby there at Oaklawn. The winner there, Mystic Dan. And earlier in the day, with the 20 points for the Kentucky Oaks, the Martha Washington for 3-year-old fillies won by Band of Gold. Kenny McPeak, the trainer there, too. So Kenny McPeak won the 2 races that held points for the Kentucky Oaks and the Kentucky Derby yesterday. Band of Gold under Brian Hernandez, who also won those 2 races for Kenny McPeak. Hernandez and McPeak had a big day yesterday at Oaklawn. That horse paid $50.60 as an upset winner in the Martha Washington. Denim and Pearls was second, and Neom Beach was third in that race. That Kenny McPeak and Brian Hernandez winning both those Kentucky Oak preps and Kentucky Derby preps at Oaklawn yesterday. Other winners on their stakes race yesterday, the King Cotton won by Skelly. Skelly went gate to wire and a Hummer. Boy, this horse won. Was his 7th win in a row for Skelly in sprint stakes. Steve Asmussen, the trainer, Ricardo Santana was getting his win over Skelly, I should say. Asmussen was his 3rd win on the day there, and 7 in a row for Skelly. Wow, he ran them off their feet. Tejano Twist was 2nd. Excess Magic was 3rd in the King Cotton. And Skelly tied for the highest buyer figure in all the stakes races yesterday with a 105 buyer figure in the King Cotton Sprint. Also, the American Beauty there won by Alva Star. Christian Torres for Brett Brinkman paid $260 as the prohibitive favorite in the American Beauty. Royal Spa was 2nd, and Condensation finished 3rd in that one. And those were the 4 stakes races yesterday at Oaklawn Park. Go to Aqueduct. Aqueduct, the Withers, holding 20 Kentucky Derby leaderboard points. The winner there was Uncle Heavy. Uncle Heavy, ridden to victory by Michelle Sanchez. For trainer Robert Reed, paid $20.60. That also was on an off track in the mud, so keep that in mind. Finishing 2nd was El Grande O, and in 3rd in the race was the favorite Lightline. Lightline finished 3rd in the Withers. And again, remember, if the Derby comes up muddy, these 2 horses yesterday performed well in the mud. The Toboggan Stakes, the undercard stakes race yesterday at Aqueduct, won by Super Chow for Jorge Delgado and Madison Oliver, paying $10.20, outrunning Manny Wah and Kinetic Sky. That at Aqueduct yesterday. And by the way, Jose Lascano and Linda Rice, they won the last race yesterday. That team continues to hit hot yesterday. By the way, Jerry Jackowitz's selection at Aqueduct also hit. Not only did the horse win, Good Skate, it paid $9.50, but he connected with the dollar exact at $6.40 and the 50-cent trifecta, paying $7.25, beat the prohibitive odds-on favorite in that race with Good Skate yesterday for Jerry's pick there at Aqueduct. All right, then we get to Santa Anita. The feature race, the Robert S. Lewis Stakes. 20 Kentucky Derby points up for grabs, but those 20 points are going to stay in the bank because the winner there decisively, scarily decisively, in an easy win was Nisos, Flavien Prat winning for Bob Baffert. Not only did Baffert win that race, but a zip code back in 2nd was his other horse, Wind Me Up, who finished 2nd in the race. So you've got Nisos winning big in the Robert Lewis. He's right now, as we speak, the favorite for the Santa Anita Derby, but he's not going to the Kentucky Derby. We'll wait for him in the Preakness, won't we? Easy winner there, paid $2.20. Looked like cattle on the ranch, money in the bank, that's for sure. Nisos winning decisively in the Robert Lewis. And he is the other one that tied with Skelly for the highest buyer figure of the day in stakes races yesterday. He also ran a 105 buyer in that race. Easy winner there. All right, other stakes races. The Megahertz won by Bella Bell. Flavien Prat aboard for Phil D'Amato. That horse paid $5.80, outrunning Mofi and Justique. In the Thunder Road, the winner there was Goliad. Goliad went wire to wire. This horse was like a 20-length leader down the backstretch. I don't know what the other jockeys were thinking of in the race, but it was only a mile race on the turf. Understandably, they thought he was going to come back, but he never did. He went gate to wire easily. Goliad won the Thunder Road, paying $12.80 for Kazuchi Kimura. Finishing 2nd was Dandy Man Shines. 3rd was Geez in that race as well. And then the Santa Monica Stakes, the winner there for fillies and mares 4-year-olds and up was Three Witches, an easy win there. Flavien Prat's 3rd stakes win of the day at Santa Anita yesterday. Mike McCarthy trained. Three Witches paid $5.20, outrunning Chismosa and Kristen Bosch. And as far as our handicappers were concerned, Jonathan Nardoon had the 7th race winner, Take Charge Curly, paying $8.40, beating the favorite in that race, by the way, the odds-on favorite in that one. And Rich Ang gave us Three Witches, who won the Santa Monica yesterday at Santa Anita. And by the way, the Bob Lewis Stakes, this was the sixth win, I should say, the 6th win in a row for trainer Bob Baffert. He's won this race 12 times overall. but 6 wins in a row. Remember, these are all with different 3-year-olds. Baffert winning the Robert Lewis, but he won't go to the Kentucky Derby. All right, then we get to Gulfstream Park. The big race there of the day because of the participation of the 2-year-old champion from last year, the Eclipse Award winner and the Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner, was, of course, in the race Fierceness. Looked like Fierceness had a really troubled trip in this race, although it never looked like he was ready to put in his big effort because he was beat by a horse called Hades under Paco Lopez, who went on and near the lead all the way around in the mile and 16th Holy Bull. Hades pays $20.40 for Jose Orsino, the trainer there. Paco Lopez gets the win. Domestic Product finished second, outrunning Fierceness, who was third. Fierceness never looked like he was either comfortable, and he got a pretty much of a rough trip yesterday in his 3-year-old debut. He'll come back to fight another day, no doubt about it. His owner, Mr. Rapoli, tweeted out this morning that he came out of the race fine, but Rapoli said he didn't. So we'll wait and see about that. That's for sure. Other stakes wins on the card yesterday. The Forward Gal for 3-year-old fillies at 7 furlongs, won by Sharper Rose. Edgard Zayas aboard 640 there for Safi Joseph Jr. This race held 20 points for the Kentucky Oaks. It was 20 points for the Kentucky Oaks, and our Harper Rose got the victory there for that. Fiona Magic was second. Chi-Chi was third in that race. In the earlier race at 7 furlongs for 3-year-olds, the Swale Stakes won by Frankie's Empire for Miguel Vasquez. Michael Yates trains there. This horse was wide all the way around this racetrack and still managed to get the victory. Les Dames Bro was second. Grandmo the first was third. Frankie's Empire paid $30 for the win there in that one. And in the Kitten's Joy Stakes, First World War, a pick by Jonathan Hardoon, gets there on the turf for Brendan Walsh and Tyler Gaffleone. That was Gaffleone's second win of the day, paying $7 even. Thank you very much, Jonathan. Hammerstein was second. Tokyo was third in that one. And the other stakes race on the day, the Sweetest Chant won by Life's and Audible. Irad Ortiz Jr. had his second win of the day there for Todd Pletcher, $5.80, outrunning Stylish Points and Dynamic Pricing. Another note on racing yesterday at Gulfstream was the 5th race on the card. My Sea Cottage wins the race under Irad Ortiz Jr. It was a Mark Casse trainee, paid $10.20, and set a new course record in the race of 126.03 in the 7.5 furlong turf race there. Also, a quick note, John Lindo came up with a winner for us in the 7th race at Gulfstream. Poolside with Slim. Luis Saez's second win of the day, paid $6.60. So John and Jonathan both gave us winners yesterday at Gulfstream. And then the Coast to Coast Pick 5. And the winning numbers, 4, 4, 6, 6, 1. Prices in those races, 640, 580, 7 even, 220. That was the Nisos win. And the Hades winning the Holy Bull, paying $20.40. Winning numbers again, 4, 4, 6, 6, 1. The dollar payoff paid $1,034.90. Not too shabby for those winners there. All right, we got a lot to do. We're going to go to our first break, and when we come back, we got Jonathan, John, Richie, and Jerry. And let's have some more winners. How about that, huh? Don't go away. You're listening to the Race Day and watching the Race Day Las Vegas show right here at the South Point Studios, 1 week away from the Super Bowl right here in your gaming capital of the world. We'll be right back.
South Point Casino is the perfect place to be. Our racebook is completely separate from the sportsbook and totally dedicated to the horse player. With 52 overhead TVs, free Wi-Fi, and cocktail service. Bring your tablet or smartphone and plug into the USB ports to look up your favorite handicapping website without draining your battery. Want to wager from your seat? No problem with our IPTs. Just sign up, make a deposit, and you're off to the races. Plus, you'll earn points for dining, hotel, movies, entertainment, and the spa just by using the club card when wagering. South Point Casino's Racebook has you covered.
All right, back on race day for this Sunday. Looking at the weather across the country, as we say, California's getting slammed, no doubt about it, and that's going to move right across the southwest. There's going to be snow in the higher areas as well, both in the Sierras in California and certainly here in northern Nevada. More action going on in the Midwest, and there's going to be some rain, some action going on in Florida, down in South Florida, so we'll wait and see if they're going to keep the turf races on there at Gulfstream. Quick note, talking about the highest buyers figure of the day for the Kentucky Derby prep races yesterday, with Nisos winning and getting a 105 buyer in the Bob Lewis. Other Kentucky Derby prep buyers for the winners there, Mystic Dan in the Southwest got a 101. Hades got an 85 in the Holy Bull, and Uncle Heavy, winning the Withers, got an 84 buyer there. All right, time to get started with our menu of racetracks available today in the Racebook, simulcast centers, racetracks around the country. Reminding you, as we always do, the first post times we broadcast on the show each and every day reflect that of the Pacific time zone. So if you're listening here in Las Vegas, where it's going to be nice, warm, comfortable, and dry in our race books here, certainly the one right here behind me at the South Point, these will be the first post times that roll out in our race books today. We are in the Pacific time zone, so if you're in the Pacific time zone, not a problem. But look, you know, all of the folks listening to us around the world, we know you're in other time zones, so adjust from the Pacific time zone to whatever one you're in, so you don't miss anything, like I miss Mom and Dad, okay? Here we go. Here's the menu for today. We begin with Gulfstream Park in Florida. Again, there might be tricky going there with the track conditions today at Gulfstream. First post time is 9:10 at Gulfstream. Their Pick 6 jackpot carryovers climbed now to $61,975. Remember, it was a mandatory payoff last Sunday, but it's now standing at $61,975. That's the Pick 6 jackpot carryover at Gulfstream today. 9 races, first post time 9:10. Then we go to the Big A, Aqueduct in New York. Now, believe it or not, all that stuff is out of the way at Aqueduct. So right now, before they get the second run coming through from the West Coast, it's sunny and 34 degrees. The track is labeled good at Aqueduct. First post time for 9 races, the Big A today is 9:20. We had the 9:20 post time yesterday at Aqueduct, but the first race went off early, and I don't know why. I'm sure that maybe Jonathan Hardoon has an answer there. But anyhow, Aqueduct's first post time is posted at 9:20 today for their 9 races. Laurel Park has 9 races. They have a carryover at Laurel Park. Their Pick 6 jackpot carryover of $1,559. 9 races. First post time is at 9:25. Tampa Bay Downs comes next. Tampa Bay Downs has a Pick 6 jackpot carryover of $78,721. Their first post time at Tampa Bay for 9 races is at 9:30. 9:30 at Tampa Bay. Now, Oaklawn Park, which had muddy going yesterday, and they might have the same today, I don't know, but I could tell you there's a lot of weather moving through there in Arkansas. They have 10 races today at Oaklawn and a first post time of 10:30 at Oaklawn Park. Fairgrounds has 8 races. Their first post time at the Fairgrounds is at 10:45 at the Fairgrounds, with the first post time there in Nolens. That, of course, again, Pacific time. And then the next race track up is Sunland Park. Sunland Park's got 9 quarter-horse races today. A couple of stakes races, though. The $100,000 Star Western Ware Stakes at 870 yards is the 8th. And the $193,285 Shoe Fly Stakes is the 9th on the card for 3-year-olds at 400 yards. Big purses today at Sunland Park. First post time at Sunland is set at 11:25, and they've got a small super high 5 carryover of $124. First post time 11:25 at Sunland. Well, they're racing in California, but it's in Northern California. Golden Gate says they're racing today. Now, they have a super high 5 carryover going on there at $5,320. Their Pick 6 jackpot carryover at Golden Gate is $47,590. And their first post time is 12:45. They are a go at Gulfstream. Remember, they do have that synthetic racetrack there. All right, that's the menu. Don't forget, no Southern California racing today. We're going to bring in Jonathan Hardoon right now. Congratulations, Jonathan, with those 2 nice winners for us yesterday.
Yeah, it certainly helped, Ralph, and hopefully we can keep it going.
Well, any impressions of what happened yesterday as far as the Derby prep races are concerned?
Well, Nyso certainly proved that he's one of the top 3-year-olds, if not the top 3-year-old at this point. And the sad news is we're not going to get to see this horse run on Derby Day. It's a disgrace. It's just terrible. Who are they hurting by him not running? They're only hurting the game. This horse has the potential to be something special and obviously could be a fan favorite. And on Derby Day, he'll be sitting in the stall. Just doesn't seem very fair, and it's not good for the game, and it's not good for anyone, really. But Churchill made up their mind, and they're going to have to live with it.
Well, we were joking about putting on a race at Santa Anita, the Kentucky Derby, non-starter race or whatever they want to call it. But they should actually try to card a race on Derby Day that will feature the 3-year-olds, even if it's an allowance race that has conditions that he can fit in, to show him, to race on Derby Day, because I'm sure that Baffert, before this happened, had a schedule for this horse that if he stayed sound and healthy, and if he does, that he would have him pointed for the first Saturday in May and get the screws tight, so to speak. Of course, it was legit yesterday. That was a nice win.
Yeah, and he's going to run in the Santa Anita Derby, I guess, next is what they have, pointed for him. And it's bad, Ralph. The game needs all the help they could get, and by keeping this horse out of the Derby, again, it doesn't do anyone any good. By the way, back to the Southwest where Mystic Dan won.
Yeah.
You want to see a ride? You want to see a ride by a jockey?
Yeah.
Watch what Brian Hernandez does. From the 10 post, he ends up on the rail going into the first turn. It was one of the greatest rides you'll ever see. It goes under the radar because he ended up winning by so much. I don't know if the ride made the difference, but it was just a terrific ride. He shaved the rail. Not often you'll get it over from the 10 post to the rail and be able to do what he did, and he deserves a lot of credit for that.
He sure does, and that win in the earlier race for the Kentucky Oaks prep was a pretty good one, too. And like Kenny McPeak has got two nice stars for both of those races, Kentucky Oaks Day Friday, Kentucky Derby Day Saturday right now, especially if it rains in Louisville during that weekend, that's for sure. But
it certainly can. It rains a lot of times on Derby Day, and if it rains, it only moves him up.
Yeah, all in all, it was an interesting day of racing for the Derby preps, that's for sure. And as far as the Derby preps are concerned, next week we do have one on February 10th. That's the next one coming up. It's the Sam Davis, part of the Tampa Bay Derby series, on the way to the Kentucky Derby. That'll be at Tampa Bay for 3-year-olds next weekend at 1 mile and 16. So we'll wait and see. Usually Pletcher, those guys usually send a horse or two down there, right?
They send them up from Gulfstream. It's no big deal. It's a couple hours away. And sometimes it's their second string that turn out to be their first string. But, that's probably the thinking behind it.
All right. And, of course, on that day as well, the Suncoast Stakes for the 3-year-old fillies. And like we said earlier, with the cancellation today of the Las Virgenes at Santa Anita, they're going to reschedule it for next week as well. So we're on the road to the Kentucky Derby, and the Kentucky Derby points now, the point-getting races, the points are going to get higher and higher, that's for sure. But all in all, I think it was, I don't know about the Wither Stakes. It looked like it was a pretty weak field.
It was a weak field. We said it before. We didn't think the Derby winner was going to be in New York yesterday. And the track was a mess, Ralph. You could either handle it or you couldn't handle it. It's been raining. Finally, today's a beautiful day, but it rained all last week. And the track is really very heavy, very slow. And, I don't know what you could really take out of that race. We'll have to see where those horses run next.
Now, Jonathan, as far as, fierceness, everybody was thinking he was a free bingo square and the coast-to-coast pick 5 and all the other bets there. But I know he got a rough trip, but he kind of looked flat anyhow, didn't he?
He may have had a rough trip, but no excuse, Ralph. He was between horses. You don't want to put a horse between horses coming off of a layoff, especially a horse that only has 3 career starts. Johnny V was stuck in that position, but he had no excuse, Ralph. He had no excuse. When it came time to run, he was just flat. Horses, like people, have bad days, and he just didn't show up yesterday. We knew he wasn't going to be squeezed, and we always say if you're going to beat these kind of horses, you want to beat them on their race back. But honestly, I thought that he was really heads and shoulders ahead of that field. It turned out he wasn't. He just didn't fire, and once he doesn't fire, it becomes a wide open event.
And if you remember, when he, as a 2-year-old, the race before the Breeders' Cup Juvenile was a clunker too, and then he
Yeah.
comes back and runs a super race in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. So I take a look at him next time because, like they said, he this morning he was fine and no problems with him. He just decided, I guess, not to run yesterday, no matter what John
But I will
Velasquez
tell
did.
you about the 2 wins he had. In his maiden victory, he made the lead and kept going. And in the Breeders' Cup, he made the lead and kept going. He had there was no fighting or nothing. He had easy leads in both of those races. Maybe he's the kind of horse that needs an easy lead. I don't know. If I had a choice between Nysos and him at this point, obviously I'd be taking Nysos if I had a choice.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we'll wait and see, though. It's yesterday wasn't Derby Day, and we'll wait and see what happens. But Nysos won't be participating anyhow, so it doesn't make any difference. All right, two nice winners yesterday. Give me more. Give me more. Give me more.
Okay, let's go to Aqueduct race number 4, 7 furlongs on the main track. And I like the number 6 horse in here, Fancy Feline. This is a 6-year-old mare from the Rachel Sales barn. I like the rider switch today to Trevor McCarthy. Her last 2 races, she was totally against the track. You couldn't pass a horse on either one of those days. Look for number 6, Fancy Feline, to get a much better trip today. I like number 4, Fancy Feline, 6-1 on the morning line to upset and win today's 4th race out at Aqueduct.
Yes, and let's just make a quick correction because our graphic says number 6, Fancy Feline, and she is number 6 in the race, not number 4.
Race 4.
Race
number
4, right.
6.
Yeah.
It says it on the graphic.
Yeah, race 4, number 6. Yeah,
Right.
you did say race 4, number 4, though. You just said that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Race 4,
Well, that's
number
okay.
6.
We don't.
6 is right.
We don't care that you're sorry as long as you get a winner. We don't care. That's right. In the 4th race, folks, number 6, that is Fancy Feline in the 4th race. Jonathan Hardoon's pick at the Big A. Where else are we going?
We're going to Gulfstream race number 9, and I really hope this horse stays on this race stays on the grass because this is a turf-only selection, and I love the number 10 horse in here, Run Curtis Run. This is a 5-year-old from the Mike Maker barn. Go watch a replay of this horse's last race. He drew inside that day.
Yeah.
Going 5 furlongs. He was shuffled back to last. Not easy when you're a dead closer and you draw inside. You're going to overcome traffic, and that's what this horse had to do, and he wasn't able to do it. However, today he draws an outside box. There's enough early speed. Javier Castellano aboard to ride. 10-1 on the morning line. Number 10, Run Curtis Run, turf only. Today's final, 9th and final, out at Gulfstream.
All right, number 10 in the 9th race. Stay on the turf at 10-1 on the morning line. The 10 in the 9th at Gulfstream. Any thoughts about those 5 furlongs, those quick 5 furlong turf races at Gulfstream where you draw the outside post and you hit the turn real quick?
Yeah, but they're going to be coming back to this horse, I hope. I mean, it looks like there's a lot of early speed, and this horse will be flying late, and we'll get up in time.
All right. You got it, Jonathan. Thanks so much. Did a yeoman's job over the weekend for us. And, of course, we'll give you a couple of days off, and we'll talk to you on Wednesday. I'm sure you'll have a soapbox for us on Wednesday.
I'm sure I will. We have Tampa and Gulfstream selections for Wednesday, by the way.
All right. You got it, my man. Thanks a lot. Have a great 2 days off.
Thanks, Ralph. Stay safe and be well. Stay dry, too.
Yes, absolutely. And don't forget, folks, Jonathan's got full sheets for both Gulfstream and Aqueduct today as well. All right, we're going to be right back with our Super Bowl handicapping guru. At least we're going to try to make him a guru, that's for sure. It was great during the playoffs. Rich Eng is starting to sharpen his tool for the Super Bowl coming up. I'll bet you he might have a horse or two for us as well. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
Born from the tragedy of 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation is committed to helping our nation's heroes and their families in their darkest hours. When a first responder or veteran doesn't return home and leaves behind a young family, Tunnel to Towers supports them. The foundation pays off their mortgages and lifts their financial burdens through their Gold Star Family Home Program and Fallen First Responder Home Program. Through their Smart Home Program, catastrophically injured veterans and first responders regain their independence with a mortgage-free home, specially adapted adapted to meet their unique physical needs. Tunnel to Towers also provides housing assistance and services to our nation's homeless veterans through their Homeless Veteran Program. They are helping more than 2,000 in 2023 because no veteran should be living on the streets of the country they signed up to protect. Join Tunnel to Towers on its mission to do good and never forget 9/11 or the sacrifices made by our nation's heroes. Donate $11 a month at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
South Point Casino is the perfect place to be. Our racebook is completely separate from the sports book and totally dedicated to the horse player. With 52 overhead TVs, free Wi-Fi, and cocktail service. Bring your tablet or smartphone and plug into the USB ports to look up your favorite handicapping website without draining your battery. Want to wager from your seat? No problem with our IPTs. Just sign up, make a deposit, and you're off to the races. Plus, you'll earn points for dining, hotel, movies, entertainment, and the spa just by using the club card when wagering. South Point Casino's Racebook has you covered.
For your child's college education and going to the game at the stadium here in Las Vegas, travel a couple of miles south right here at the South Point complex. The South Point Hotel Casino is going to kick out the jams, so to speak, for the Super Bowl. Big game parties all over the place here at the South Point. The Grand Ballroom, the Exhibit Hall, and the Napa Showroom will all be open free of charge with big screen TVs, betting windows, and, of course, food and drink specials. So you're not going to have to mortgage anything to watch the game and have a drink or two and certainly eat as well. Free admission. You must be 21. And the doors open in all these Exhibit Hall, Grand Ballroom, and the Napa Showroom, etc. at 10:30 a.m. Super Bowl Sunday. That's next Sunday. And I got to tell you, I've been to these parties several times here at the South Point, and it is a home run, no doubt about it. You're going to have a lot of fun with your friends, and it'll be just like being at the game, except you won't have to worry about all that traffic leaving the games. That's for sure. Rich Eng, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Ralphie. I suggested to Sandy we take out a home equity loan of $20,000 to buy a Super Bowl ticket, but she nixed that idea pretty quickly.
Yeah, she's obviously, by that statement, the smart one of the marriage there. That's for sure. In any case, they're starting to pile up the pages of prop bets, and certainly they've had three versions of it so far here at the South Point. They had the single-page one, then they had the multi-page one, and now they got a multi-page one of prop bets going on all over the place. I know you perused it a little bit. What you got a prop or two that might stick out as far as the Super Bowl 1 week from today?
Yeah, well, first, I recommend the folks pick these up because it's got more than 500 different props and different kind of pricing, and it's really fun to actually kind of go through. Obviously, nobody in their right mind is going to bet them all, but I go into Super Bowl parties, Ralph, where somebody goes to the South Point book and buys a whole bunch of $5 tickets and then hands them out before the game kicks off, so everybody at the party has something to root for as far as a ticket. But I just want to say one thing real quick.
Yeah.
About what the South Point has done that's really sports bettor friendly. One is if you bet the game straight and you actually go to the South Point, they will give you minus 105, which is 5 points better than the minus 110 that most places do. And if you're going to bet some of the gimmick bets like the opening coin toss, which team's going to get it, who's going to call heads or tails, they're actually pricing it at 102, minus 102. Yeah. And some of these places, believe it or not, Ralph, they charge like minus 115 on the coin toss, so you're giving up 30% of juice. So at least you're doing some good things to make it more player friendly.
Not even a question about it. They always have at the South Point here. That's a great point to have. And remember, folks, the 105 and 102 may not mean a lot to the casual player, but for the guys who are going to tee it up, that does make a difference. And and that is usually what people say is where the bookmaker will make money because, as you know, on every proposition, every bet they offer, The optimum thing is to have as much money on one side as the other, and you take the juice, and that's what the juice is. But they're cutting down big time their juice, which is the profit, to offer for the folks on the big game. That's for sure. All right. Well, I've hit on the safety a few times. I hit on the tie in the overtime last year. I got to tell you, Richie, the way this point spread is so tight this year at the South Point, I'm going to go for a tie again. I'm going to go for overtime. They might in the last minute need a field goal to tie and get in overtime.
Yeah, when you see a point spread of -2 most of the week, that is the bookmakers telling us that this game looks really close, looks like a one-possession game. Maybe even the winner is going to be who has the ball last.
Yep.
There's a prop of will there be a walk-off field goal or a walk-off score to decide the game. There's stuff like that. But every day for today and next week, I'll give out 2 props a day, Ralph, right up until kickoff on Sunday. So let me go over a couple of props that I'm going to give out today to the folks, and I'll repeat them on Wednesday in case somebody, for whatever reason, didn't listen on Sunday.
Go ahead.
But the first one is the total gross passing yards by Brock Purdy, the quarterback of the 49ers in the game. South Point has it at 242.5, and I definitely like the under 242.5. I think one of my reasonings for that, Ralph, is that you have to look at the game plan of how these head coaches, Andy Reid and Shanahan, are going to game plan. I really think that the 49ers are going to try to run the football and take the pressure off of Purdy, which to me tells me they're going to throw the ball less. And if you throw the ball less, you're going to probably get less yards. So I'm going to take under 242.5. And that doesn't matter to me whether the 49ers actually win the football game or not.
Okay.
The other prop to give out is total rushing yards in the game by Isaiah Pacheco, the running back, the number 1 running back of the Kansas City Chiefs. The South Point has 65.5 yards. I am going over. I like over 65.5. I think the Chiefs, in a similar vein, will try to run the football a lot of short passes by Mahomes. But, like for the last couple of weeks, we've seen running backs run very well against the 49er defensive line.
Right.
Jones and the other kid, Montgomery, last week for the Lions, they gained a lot of yards rushing the football. Pacheco gets most of the carry. So I'm going over 65.5 yards with Pacheco.
All right, and you got a pick for a horse?
Yeah, let's go to Laurel Park. This is Maryland. You usually don't give out picks there, but I have a sheet with that simulcast plays. Let's go to race number 4 at Laurel. It's a mile and a 16th. That's 2 turns on the main track. Maiden claiming 30,000. The horse dropping down that I think can close into a modest pace is number 3, Classy Chick. 6-1 in the morning line. Madeline Rowland, who was riding for a while in New York, and now she's switched her tack over to Laurel. But this horse should get a nice trip and should finish. So we'll go 25 win, place 2 for the ROI. Number 3, Classy Chick in the 4th.
4th race, number 3, Classy Chick, Laurel Park. And Richie will keep an eye on all of the action going on next week in the Super Bowl with you. And until then, until Wednesday, thanks a lot, my man, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Hey, thanks, Ralph. Good luck, everybody.
All right. Remember, Richie had a winner for us yesterday as well. Okay, we're going to come back with John Lindo. I know there's no Santa Anita, but John Lindo has a thought or two, maybe a pick. I think he has one for you. And then, of course, we'll get to Jerry Jackowitz. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
South Point Casino is the perfect place to be. Our racebook is completely separate from the sportsbook and totally dedicated to the horse player. With 52 overhead TVs, free Wi-Fi, and cocktail service. Bring your tablet or smartphone and plug into the USB ports to look up your favorite handicapping website without draining your battery. Want to wager from your seat? No problem with our IPTs. Just sign up, make a deposit, and you're off to the races. Plus, you'll earn points for dining, hotel, movies, entertainment, and the spa just by using the club card when wagering. South Point Casino's Racebook has you covered.
The Race Day Las Vegas Show, the only exclusive daily local media racing information source in Las Vegas.
All righty. Quick note here, folks, at the South Point Studio feed on the YouTube. you better be with us next week, because those shows that you see on the graphic now, the Punchline Show with Frank Nicotero and Sports by the Book, both shows all week next week will be in Radio Row at the Super Bowl site. Radio Row there. Today, Sports by the Book will start at 8:30 this morning, 8:30 to 9:30 this morning. Special time for Sports by the Book. But both of those shows go on the road to the stadium next week. Keep it right here. All right, let's go to John Lindo, standing by. John, good morning.
How you doing?
I'm doing fine, John. I know there's no racing in Southern California, but has it started raining yet there, big time?
Not a drop of rain yet, Ralph. Nothing yet. Supposed to get it in later today. We'll see.
Oh, my. If the sun comes out, oh, my, oh, my. A quick thought about any of the Kentucky Derby prep races from yesterday.
A couple things. Nisos checked a lot of boxes. He was unable to make the lead, but he rated nice. He took dirt in his face for the first time. He showed he can handle 2 turns, and he showed that acceleration you like to see. He was spectacular. And in the Holy Bull, Fierceness has had trouble in 2 starts, couldn't get it done. He has had a little trouble with adversity. And in the Derby, with 20 horses, you better be able to overcome trouble. So that's something we have to watch.
No question about that. That's for sure, John. You're scheduled for next week.
I'll do Gulfstream Park on Thursday. We'll do Santa Anita Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
All right, you got it, my man. Nice win yesterday in that maiden race for 3-year-old fillies at Gulfstream with poolside with Slim. A nice 660 win there with Luis Saez, but a solid win at that.
Yeah, this is a horse that might be a really nice horse. We'll see when he gets a chance on the grass, but George Arnold looks like he has a talented filly there.
No question about that, that's for sure. And, man, what about My Sea Cottage going 7.5 furlongs on the turf and a new course record earlier in the day? That grass course must be in great shape at Gulfstream right now.
Well, they haven't had rain for a couple weeks, and it's lightning fast. We saw some really fast times on that course. There was a new course record on Pegasus Day, so that rain that's supposed to come in today, I think they could use it.
Now, John, I know that you were hesitant about doing a Gulfstream Park Lindo report today because with the weather as it is there in South Florida as well, the way the weather is predicted to be down there, there's a good possibility that the turf races will go to the tappeta, the synthetic footing, and there'll be a multitude of the races then, if that's the case, on the tappeta footing, and you're really not comfortable with handicapping and giving out to the Lindo report for that condition.
Well, I don't mind a few of them, but there's only one dirt race today at Gulfstream, Ralph. And if those races come out the grass, we're looking at 8 Tapeta races. And it's just that I want to get involved with, that much. And I don't think it would be my best effort, so I'm not going to do it that way if I can't do the best I can for our customers.
You're darn right, and we appreciate that, that's for sure. But you did manage to root out a horse for us at Gulfstream, I would imagine, if it stays on the turf.
This one's either way. I'm going to go to the 9th and final, the same race as John Hardoon. I like number 2, Smokin' Jay. This is a horse that runs best with Lasix. He drops out a couple of stakes races, gets the Lasix back. He loves the turf course at Gulfstream, and he's also won a couple times on synthetic. So if it's forced off, ending up on the synthetic track, he's okay. From post number 2, I think he falls into a good stocking trip. 6-1 is a fair odds here. So number 2, Smokin' Jay, 9th and final at Gulfstream Park.
All right, Gulfstream Park, 9th and final. You guys gave me a Siraco play to end the day today. In the 9th race, you like the 2, Smokin' Jay. Jonathan likes the 10, Run Curtis Run. Jonathan's play is for turf only, so if it stays on the turf, I got a Siraco play of the 2-10-10-2 in the 9th race. John, I know that you'll probably have a thought or two about the Super Bowl next week as well, so stay dry, and we'll talk to you on Wednesday.
Yeah, I wish I had that list of we got to get the South Point to put it on the website, all the propositions. I got to take a look at this thing.
Yeah, no question about that, for sure. A lot of different scenarios and they're all covered. Believe me, everything's covered from the coin toss to, whatever. Hey, thanks a lot, John.
Okay.
All right, John broke up a little bit there at the end, but nevertheless, he said goodbye and thank you, and we thank him for his selection. Now we're going to go to Jerry Jackowitz, who also gave us a win yesterday. Jerry did. Jerry Jackowitz, good morning.
Good morning, Ralph.
And you, I would imagine, at least had an opportunity to see some of the prep races for the Derby yesterday. Anything impress you?
Nisos, or as I like to call him, New York SOS.
Yeah, you really liked him before the race. I know you must like him even better after the race. And in all due honesty, I think we'll give Fierceness a pass yesterday. But, he's got to overcome adversity if he wants to come to the Kentucky Derby and be a contender, because we know what that place is like on Derby Day.
The horse with phenomenal ability, but he might have a loose screw. I don't know. So
he might be a head case horse, you think?
Who knows? Yeah, maybe. You have to get the on the show the horsey psychiatrist to.
Yeah, we'll have to.
Big speed, speed ratings and stuff. I can't judge what goes on between the ears, but.
Well, maybe we can, if we can find Mr. Ed, maybe he can talk to him for us, huh?
There you go. Get him on the show.
All right. Anyhow, the track is labeled good today at Aqueduct, and it's going to be right around a little bit over freezing by the time they get started there. And I do have the scratches in front of me. So what are we doing today at Aqueduct?
Well, I'm sorry, I got up a little late, so I didn't get to the scratches.
Okay,
yet,
I'll give them to you if you give me one.
I'm going to give you 2 plays today because we're just doing Aqueduct. There's no Santa Anita, and stick with the program of the last 27 years, Ralph.
Yes, sir.
In race number 2, print track for Rudy Rodriguez. We're sort of dropping a class here into an allowance 20. It's a nice field, but I think this horse is just in like one of those periods of time when the horse is just in really great shape. He's just going to keep winning and running. He likes everything about Aqueduct, and the temperature and everything is right. The 2 horse in race number 2 is going to be our win bet. We'll play the 2 over the 1-4, small reverses. This is basically a pretty much 2 over the 1-4 type of play.
All right. And again, that's in the second race, the 2 print track. And you're going to use them over the 1 and 4, you say?
Correct.
All right. Now,
reverses even. That's all.
All right. There's an entry there of 1 and 1A. And by the way, they're both going. The only scratch in the race is the 5. So either one of the 2 entries go, it's a go, right?
Right. Absolutely. Well, I have it handicapped for either one.
Okay. So in the second race, number 2 print track, the 2 over the 1s and the 4, and reverse with the 2 in the second. And where's our second play coming?
We'll go to the 5th race, Ralph. This is my featured play on the Power Page Plus.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Ralph, just as a mention, I have on my Power Page Plus, I have horses marked as either pop-out keys or the featured play. We had a pop-out key in the 4th race, only paid $62 to win.
Yes, that's exactly right. When you get the Power Page Plus, folks, the other the offers on that would be a V for value play, a P with a pop-out key, and certainly the stars, etc. But that thing popped yesterday at $62. That was a biggie.
Yeah, he was a V horse and also a pop-out
key. Yeah. Okay. So in the 5th race, you like the 4, Rufa?
In the 5th race, I like the 4, Rufa. I just love this horse coming off that race. I think he's going to improve off it. That was an easy win. I like the 4 over the 1-3-5. I'll take him down to 4-5. I don't say that very often.
All right. So it's almost a free bingo square for you in the 5th race, which is the anchor in the early pick 5 and early pick 4 today at Aqueduct. And, of course, in the early races of the pick 6. 5th race, number 4, Rufa. And it's a play over the 1-3-5 and reverse, the $2 ROI 2 on the 4 Rufa. And again, remember about those extras. A little bit light on the Power Page Plus today as far as the symbols that you were talking about. I see on the sheet 3 pop-out keys and a V play. Ironically, I can't believe you'd have no stars today, huh?
It's one of those crazy days. It may be the first day in 27 years.
Yeah.
I always, but no star horses. So which isn't a bad thing because everything has its own value structure.
Right, yeah.
Help you make decisions about what's the right.
No, we don't. We don't want to push anything if it's not there. That's for sure. You and John take your craft very seriously, and so that's the way it is there. All right, well, we're going to wrap up this Sunday race day show, hoping our handicappers will stay hot and give us some more winners. In the meantime, it's going to be a crazy week next week from Las Vegas, but we'll be here starting Wednesday on our march to the Super Bowl weekend and, of course, covering racing Las Vegas style. In the meantime, say it, Jerry.
Have a great race day, everybody.